I'm going to be sharing with you in this video what to do when it seems like your world is falling apart and crumbling. Maybe some kind of opportunity that you thought was going to work out in your life didn't work out. Maybe some kind of connection in your life that you thought was going to really work out, and you just really felt like it was happening and it was something you were excited about, fell apart. I believe that there's a reason why these types of situations happen in our life, and I'm going to be sharing with you my perspective on what I believe that reason to be and how you can use this actually, not even as something to like just get through, like I need to just get through this situation, but actually how to actually get an advantage from these types of situations. Not only are you going to be able to get through something in your life, perhaps that's maybe your life is crumbling in some way or falling apart, I'm going to share with you how to actually use it as a tool and leverage this situation to actually become better than perhaps somebody else would have if they didn't have this type of challenge. Okay, so let's talk about that in this video. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, all the details for that will be down below. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you is to understand that when this type of situation happens, what I really encourage you to do is not even to see it as a loss. Whatever it is in life, maybe you lost a connection, maybe you lost an opportunity, maybe you lost a sale, whatever it is, right? Maybe something happened, maybe you lost, maybe you're living at a living location and you don't live there anymore and you're sad about it, and you're in some situation where you lost something and now you're in a different place. What I want you to understand is that the way that I see these types of situations in my life and the way that I choose to see it, and what I invite and encourage you to do as well, is to see what you are gaining in comparison to what you are losing. Because you can always, at any single moment in your life, no matter what is happening, you can literally see any situation and choose to see it in a way where you're losing something, or oh, this thing is, I'm losing this. All these things I don't have anymore. But what the human mind doesn't like to do, but I've chosen to start to program myself in a way to see it like this, because I just see there's no really any other option. It's like either I live in the past or I choose to see it in this way, which is to see what you're gaining. What are all the opportunities that you can gain from where you are? Where can you go? Where can you move forward to? If your world is crumbling and your world is falling apart, most likely it's because, well, I'll share with you some other reasons. There's a lot of reasons that it could be happening, but just choose to see what you're getting. I mean, it could be because maybe it's just not what you actually wanted. Maybe it's not in alignment, right? There's a lot of things. I'll get to that in a second, but the key is to see what you can gain. What can you gain? What are you gaining from this situation? Maybe you have more free time. Maybe you have more free time to focus on something else that you really want to do more of, that maybe you didn't have time to do because your resources were being drawn to that other thing, or the opportunity, or the connection, or the person, because we only have so much capacity, so much energy to focus on certain things in our life. You know what I mean? And so what can you gain? Maybe you're letting go of some job. Maybe you're letting go of some pattern or habit. See, energy, and I've heard this, you probably heard this before, but it's like what I've noticed is that when people said that energy never gets created or destroyed, that's true. It is true, but a more practical and grounded way to communicate that in terms of like your habits and the patterning of your life, I've noticed, is that if you're letting go of some kind of consistent action and patterning and way of being in one area of your life, you're gonna have to replace that, because you're gonna have to do something, right? If you're not doing that thing that maybe is falling apart in your life, you're gonna have to do something else. You're gonna have to be something else. See, with an ending always comes a new beginning. Oftentimes we think, oh my gosh, something's ending in my life. This is the end. No, but really it's a new beginning. See, endings always come with beginnings. That's just how it is. So when you let go of one thing, automatically just there's going to be more space. That's because that space is going to have to go somewhere. It has to. It has to. And either you can be thinking about the past and how you don't have this thing anymore, and that's where all your attention is going to go, is what you don't have, or you can take all that energy and you can focus on what you want instead. Now, the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is to understand that everything is going to sound cliche, but everything happens for a reason. Now, I want to share with you something a little bit deeper. When I say everything happens for a reason, yes, I am in a way talking about like some divine reason, like there's a divinity behind what it is that I'm saying. There is a divinity behind that. When I say everything's a reason, there is a divine, you could say, force that is working in the works behind everything here. There's a divine force. But I want to go a little bit deeper here from the perspective of empowerment, and to share with you that actually, yes, everything happens for a reason. But what I want to share with you is that actually you are that reason. Okay, you are that reason. See, earlier on, you could say in my life or in my journey, if you want to say it like that, I would always think like, oh my God, everything happens for a reason. Everything's just so divine. There's some divine force. And it's true. It's true. There is a divine force. It's true. But what I've come to realize though is that actually I am the reason. Does that make sense? I literally am the reason. So when I lose an opportunity or something falls apart or something doesn't work out, and I say to myself, oh, that happened for a reason. That happened because, it wasn't meant for me. Or, I have more space to do this. Or, I have more time now to do this. You got to understand that I am choosing to see it in that way, right? And so think about it. I could have not seen it in that way. I could have said I could have been stubborn. I could have been, you could say, arrogant. See, people think arrogance is, choosing to see something in a certain way, thinking that you're the best and you're gonna figure it out. People think like, oh, that's arrogant. No, what's arrogant is to attach to the past. That's the real arrogance, is when you attach to the past, some past way of seeing it where it's already done and already happened, and you go back to that situation, to that person, and you start getting all weird and all like needy, and like you start like whatever it is, right? You get into that sort of like frantic, ungrounded, like, oh my God, like it's just needy energy. And the thing is that in my experience, you want to avoid that type of energy, right? Not to run away from feeling it, but don't make any ridiculous decisions based upon this franticness, you know what I mean? And so when I say everything happens for a reason, what I'm saying is to choose to see the challenges in your life and to reframe those challenges in a way that is going to serve you, that's going to benefit you. Because think about it, if you're thinking about things in a way where, oh my gosh, like this is hurting me, this is bad, why is this happening? What's hurting you is not necessarily the actual situation. It's the way that you're seeing it. The perspective about the situation is what's causing all the stress and the anxiety, and literally you could even say hurting you. Because when you're people don't understand it. I don't want to say it in that way, but in my experience, what I didn't understand for the longest time is that when I'm seeing something in a certain way, okay, that makes me feel bad, well, first of all, that's a choice. Second of all, think about it from the perspective of like, you gotta understand that cortisol and stress, the stress hormones in your body. There's a lot of stress hormones that, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a medical professional, but I would willing to bet that if you're seeing something in a way that you know is a choice that's causing you stress, at that point it's like, wait a second, I'm literally causing damage to myself. Literally. So the question at that point is like, wait, why would I do that? You got to find a different way, a different perspective that's going to serve you, because, the question is, what is the alternative? The alternative is to let yourself be stressed, to be anxious about a situation that there's only one thing in life that you can truly control, and that is how you're seeing the situation. You can't control the situations necessarily that happen to you a lot of the times, but there's one thing that you can control. It's your own mind. It's how you're seeing the situation. You can take full responsibility of how you're seeing it. That's what you can control, right? And I'm not even saying that from a place of authority. I'm just saying that when something goes wrong, when something hits the fan, when something goes unexpected, which is going to happen, life is not going to always go in a way that's expected. When it happens, right? Not that I'm being pessimistic, but you got to understand that if you're intelligent enough, you'll understand that challenges are going to happen, problems are going to happen. When it does happen, it's your responsibility to see that in a way that's intelligent. That's up to you. Okay, now to conclude this video, what I want to share with you is to understand that one perspective that I like, that I prefer to see, is that if something is, if something is falling apart, one perspective that I resonate with, to choose to see it in that way, is to see that, it's not for me. It's just not for me. If a relationship falls apart, if an opportunity falls apart, if I gave something everything that I have with my full capacity in my heart, and it doesn't come through, it's like, what else? What am I going to do? Complain? What am I going to do? Complain? What am I going to do? Cry about it? What am I going to do? I mean, maybe I'll feel an emotion, but I'm not going to attach to that emotion. What am I going to do? Sit there and weep, cry, complain, tell the entire world about, oh my God, it's like, no, you know what? It wasn't for me. I'm just going to focus on something else. What is the alternative? In my experience, in my opinion, there is no alternative. The alternative, I've already seen the alternative. So I get to a point when something falls apart where I like this way of saying it. It's almost like you get to a point in your life where you do have a choice, but it's almost like you get to the point where it's like, I call it the choiceless choice, where you realize that you don't really have a choice, but to make a choice to stop hurting yourself. And seeing this, that's like you could choose to hurt yourself, to keep repeating the same mistake. You see it, but it's like when you're conscious enough, when you're intelligent enough, it's like, wait, I can choose to do that, but I don't want to choose to do that because it's hurting me. So then at that point, it's like, I don't have a choice but to make a choice, but that is the ultimate choice. That is the ultimate choice, because now it's like people think like, oh, everything's inevitable, everything happens, on its own, I don't have free will. You do have a choice, and the choice is so beautiful, because the choice is to see that you can make the choice to be narcissistic, to be egotistical, to see things in a negative way. You can. It is a choice. And then you don't make that choice. That is the choice. And you could say like, oh, but isn't that inevitable? That you made the choice to not sin? Yeah, you could. You could say it in that way. But the thing is that if you go too far down that type of thinking, now you lose your feeling of power and the feeling of being in control. And I would say that it's not just a feeling, although it is in a way. It's also just the truth. It's the truth. The truth is you can choose to see something in a way that's not going to serve you. Or you can say, you know what? No, I'm going to see this situation in a way that serves me. Okay, and with that, that's the message. With that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, the only way to do that right now is to do number 1, email coaching, number 2, single sessions, and I do actually have about 1 or 2 spots available for a long-term program. I'm only taking specific applicants for that type of long-term coaching. So if you do want to see if you qualify, you can hit the links that are going to be in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well, and you can access that below. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.